Many of you have asked about Greenside Corpsman constantly because you guys know I am with the Marines. While I am a U.S. Navy Corpsman, we are attached with them. I did do a poll on my Instagram, which you can go check out. If you want to see it, I'll answer your questions there. Your question could appear in future videos, so make sure you follow me over there. What's up, guys? You're tuning in to Nikki MGTV for another military video for all your military video needs. As always, you can hit me up on Instagram, Snapchat, or down in the comments below. That was repetitive, but I have to stick with the format because that's what I do. So let's go right into the video. Very basic. You go from boot camp A school to Field Medical Training Battalion, which is less likely to happen when you're first out of A school to go to a Greenside command. I know a lot of you guys are eager to go there, but trust me, for some reason, they want you guys to get some medical experience first at a hospital, but I'm joking. You probably should, and then that way when you get to the operational side, it takes less time to get you up to speed. What is the difference rather than being a regular corpsman? So we say blue side and green side. I hate even calling it that because the way it's working now is it almost feels like there's no major differences other than when you are with the Marines, you will go out into a field environment and set up like a battalion aid station and render care over there with them. And also you can do like different ops with them and wear Marine Corps regulation uniforms. I only wear the MARPATs because I'm not Marine Corps regs for everything else. Go watch that video. I'll put it up there if you can go see why or what uniforms we wear and how that happens or what the deal is. There are reserve corpsmen on the Greenside. Yes, there is. I actually have a buddy that is doing it right now. So yes, and I do know that you can contract the Field Medical Training Battalion into your reserve contract. They're the only ones I've personally ever seen that have that. So I've never seen actually the active duty component have that. And that's also partially due to funding and how that works because reserve pot of money is different than active duty. Daily life of a Greenside corpsman. Pretty much if you're in the clinic, you're going to be doing basic so-called rendering care, 20-minute appointments with a provider or the IDC like myself, and you're just going to see people for whatever issues they have, which could be just basic sick call of, hey, I have a cold. You have readiness, which could be just like physical health assessments, ensuring that's good to go, or if you're in aviation community doing long form, short form, in regards to making sure pilots and stuff like that can fly. You can also do immunizations, making sure they get their immunizations up to date. And then if you're not in the clinic, you're typically going to be doing some kind of coverage. For example, if you got EOD, where people go out and they do a coverage with them, or you could be out on a field op where you're going to be the medical component for them. That's really all it is, or you'll be like with the unit that you're with. And realistically, you're kind of like an extension reminder at their area of work. So whenever someone needs all their flu shots or whatever, you're the one walking around to everyone in the squadron or your unit saying, hey, I need you guys to go get this done over the clinic. Or you'll maybe set up something where you deliver shots right there in the squadron or wherever the unit's at. I want to know about PT training for Greenside. I'll be honest with you, and the wing side of things, we're not really working out with them like that. That's more so on the grunt side that I've seen, and it's typically the lower enlisted people that are going to go out and do that. Me being E6, I'm not out there running and gunning with everyone anymore. But yes, you will have an opportunity to PT with Marines if you want, but realistically, I mean, you're going to live on a base, eat on a base, and Marines are everywhere on that base. So you'll likely go to the gym and work out with them either way. It's asking, how hard is it to get Greenside? It's just a matter of time. Realistically, you are probably going to get Greenside if you're a male at some point in your career. It's very easy. I find more corpsmen don't want to be on ships. I do feel like ships are a harder billet or job to get. It's more stressful. Not as many people talk about it. But yes, the Greenside is a very likely possibility after your first command. And if you get Field Medical Training Battalion out of A school, awesome, you get the training done, but it's not necessary. So yes, if it offers Groton, Connecticut as something with Field Medical Training Battalion, don't pick it because it has Field Med Training Battalion on it, when you could pick the Groton billet or the Italy that doesn't have FMTB. I would just go to Italy because you'll eventually go to Field Med one way or another. Plus, it's probably better going even as a E4 when you go, because that way you can kind of have a little bit better liberty than most. Tucker asked about all the uniforms that we have. So in the Navy, we have to maintain a few uniforms, which are the dress whites and dress blues. That's the fancy one, Cracker Jack looking. You have the service uniform, which is the tan top, black bottoms. And then you have your camouflage uniform, which for us, when you're with the Marines, you have your Navy ones you're supposed to maintain, as well as your MARPAT uniform as well. But you can do Marine Corps regulations and go to the service uniform. Again, that video I talked about earlier that I tagged up there, go watch the entire details. Just in regards to, like, do you have inspections coming up? Do you have a lot of work you gotta get done for an op coming up, or is there a deployment happening? It really varies, but I would say most days you're gonna get in probably around 7 o'clock and leave around 4 or 5 p.m. That's a pretty standard. Again, we're not slave drivers here. We're just trying to make sure the work gets done. It's your boy John says, how does working towards promotion on Greenside differ than other areas of being a corpsman? And that's a really good question, because what looks good on the blue side is not going to be the same thing as Greenside, and that's just because you don't have the same opportunities. So for example, when you're with the Marines, you can actually try for the Marine Corps martial arts belts, going from tan belt and working your way up. And then you can also do their fitness tests. You can do stuff like that and kind of make yourself outshine. A lot of stuff is going to revolve around operational, doing coverages, being out with the Marines and doing that. But there's also stuff that you can do that will make you look good in the clinic, such as being like a supply petty officer, which can also correlate to blue side as well. So there's just small nuanced differences, but the main thing is the operation of them, you know, needing people to go watch them shoot guns or something. Maria asked me, does the training at Field Medical Trade Battalion prepare you for being Greenside? And I will say yes. It's, for me, from the reality of going a IDC E6 to Field Med was overkill for what my job is going to be. Reality, it's meant for the dudes that are E3, E4 and below, that are going like a division setting where you're going to be the main corpsman that is talking with the Marines and being there for them. So it does prepare you. I can't really say in regards to division how that is, but I do think it does prepare people pretty well to the Marine Corps mindset. Vanilla Gorilla says, is the Greenside a special duty, something that you have to apply for, or do you get it right out from the get-go? You can get it right out from the get-go. It's not a special program. I don't know why this is hyped, other than maybe OIF, OEF. There's just so much coverage on them because Corpsman did a lot of stuff during that conflict. Taylor Cove says, how often do you see combat? This is very much associated with Greenside Corpsman being known to be in combat, earning medals of honor, and really, you know, taking the reins as far as making sure our brothers and sisters get home. So yes, you can see combat in regards to being a Greenside Corpsman, but right now, do not expect that just because you go with an infantry unit that you're going to be seeing combat automatically. Pets ask, what is FMTB, Field Medical Training Battalion East like? There's East and West Coast. Me and Donnie have made training videos that talk about the differences between East and West. I've made videos about how to prepare for the hikes and stuff like that. But literally, it's trying to teach you how the Marines do stuff. It's pretty much boot camp 2.0. You're gonna have the whole, you know, somebody messed up, so you have to go work out and do burpees and whatever else a million times until the situation gets corrected. The hours and hours upon a field day, or cleaning your barracks, just you name it, any kind of stupid crap that you can think of is gonna happen, with a little bit of medicine where they teach you how to put on a tourniquet. He says, what does Greenside Corpsman even mean? Also, is there only corpsman in the Navy? So corpsman is a title specifically for the medical enlisted component. It's the only enlisted corps that there is, which is the hospital corps. So that's what a corpsman is, and they're only in the Navy. We don't call medics or 68 whiskeys in the Army corpsman. It doesn't translate. You'll offend people if you say that. Greenside Corpsman, just referring to you being with the Marines. Green uniform, green, kind of just there. Caitlin asked a very important question, and that is, do females go Greenside? Yes, females go Greenside. I work with females all the time. They're expected to do all the same stuff. We're just Navy people that wear Marine Corps uniforms that work alongside them when stuff happens. Realistically, we're all sailors, so a Marine can tell if you're a sailor from pretty far away based on how you walk, talk, you know, your uniform. You may have a warfare device, which a lot of them do not. So ask, do you guys get to shoot people? I've never shot anybody. And speaking of which, I haven't fired a weapon since I was in Field Med in, I think, February now. So it's been months. Don't get this conflicted though. I have to clean a weapon every month, even though I don't shoot it. And it says, are you ready to take a life in combat? Be honest. And the reality is, I don't know. And it's kind of hard because it's one of those things like you never know until you're actually there. I think most people that have been combat vets or whatever watch these videos and like talk crap about how soft I am, but hey dude, like it's a time and place thing. Like if I could be there and help you out in any way I could, I think I would jump on it and I would be there for that. But I think at the end of the day, a lot of people have this viewpoint or image of themselves as being somebody heroic. So I mean, I obviously have those envisions as well, but realistically, you will never know until you're there. I say this because there are people that do have like shell shock and stuff like that, and they've just never, they freeze up in combat. So just to give you guys some viewpoint on that, yes, I've never seen combat, but I'd like to say that I, as an IDC, I wouldn't probably be firing back in that role as far as out with the Marines, but I'd probably be back receiving trauma patients, stuff like that. But if need be, I'm probably gonna have to fire back because that would be a bad day for me. Holbrook Emily asked, what is the worst part of being Greenside? And it's like not a worst part, it's literally trying to understand Marine mentality. And it's hard because I come from a Navy mentality. I've got medical knowledge up to here compared to regular corpsman being an IDC. But the one thing I want to say is it's tough because I go to IDC school to learn how to talk to doctors, and then I went to Greenside where I had to learn how to talk to Marines. They're two very different communities and people that you're trying to convey a message to. Tifador says, what are the different communities within being a Greenside corpsman? And that is, you have the division infantry side, you have the medical logistics group, or the MLG, and then you have the wing, or however you want to call it, the rear with the gear. So those are the three components that are very vague. You'll always hear from the ground guys that the wing has it the easiest, and then you'll hear from the MLG guys that they want to go do stuff that the division guys do, but then they can't ever do it because they're stuck in MLG just waiting to be tasked out to go do something else. But I will say, if you want the traditional experience, the only way that you can really expect from maybe the stories you've heard are really going infantry. If you would like to be a more school savvy person or something like that, I'd probably go to MLG or wing just because quality of life is a little bit easier. But even then, even the wing side of things can have a ground component, which can be highly operational where you're going out in the field and doing stuff like that as well. It's not as cake as what the ground guys make it, but it is better. Squad asks, what do you do when not in combat? Pretty much CSIT call, make sure everyone's healthy and safe and no issues are going on, immunizations, make sure their health records are up to date, make sure they've got everything in line with dental, you know, just making sure they are ready for the call. That's really all we do as corpsmen, is make sure any acute stuff is good to go and you can leave the next day if you have to. What is the most exciting thing about Greenside? And I want to say this as somebody that's working on my warfare device. I think people that have had the FMF pin or talk about earning the FMF pin, it means a lot. You're carrying a huge lineage of people that took a while to earn that. If you guys don't realize that pin came out, I believe, in 2006. It used to only be a ribbon until it was made a warfare device, just for your guys' knowledge. But yes, I think the pin is like the indicated factor that you have like made it Greenside. So I know Donnie chalks trash on me all the time about this, but yes, I'm working on it. It's just something that takes time. I'm not going to go into this video about it, but I've made a video about it. You can look up there if you want to see what that's about. Anna's asking, what is a way that a female can make sure that they go Greenside? There's really not any way for male or female to ensure you go Greenside. It's really needs of the Navy. So if they need somebody, they're going to put you where they need you. In regards to females, they've opened up East and West Coast now. So before there was only East Coast, so there were much more limited spots, but now you got West Coast. The main difference that you talk about are the swamps of the East Coast, and then you have the West Coast, which are known for the hills. I went on the West Coast, but trust me, it rained even when I was there. So we kind of get the best of both worlds in one single school where I was like, man, I thought the East Coast only got the rain, but we got both of them. And if you want to talk about those videos, I'm going to plug them up here. I'll probably put them in the description down below to link those two, just to kind of get the full picture of what it means to be a Greenside corpsman. But if you guys do have more questions about being a corpsman, Greenside, the Navy in general, you can always hit me up on Instagram, Snapchat, or down in the comments below. And as always, I love you guys. I'll see you next time.